What is up, everybody? Happy 4th of July weekend. It's your favorite UFC podcast, Outside the Cage, back for another show. We got a UFC 303 recap. Crazy stuff went down. Historic, generational stuff went down. We're talking Khabib in trouble. We're talking Connor, Hamzat, John Jones, and we got Masvidal and Diaz predictions. But how you doing, brother? Happy 4th of July weekend. How you doing?
Doing great, man. I can't lie. The 4th of July, it's not hitting the same this year because I had to work today. I got to work tomorrow, and I got to work the day after. I'm a straight Monday
These are
through
open on the
Friday
4th?
guy. Bullshit, bro. Bullshit. I was trying to cause a riot about it, but yes, bro, I got to work 9 to 5 tomorrow. But you best believe at 5 o'clock tomorrow, I'm going to be celebrating America's birthday real hard. And the store is going to be so empty tomorrow, bro. There's no way there's going to be anybody except maybe some foreigners who don't celebrate. But nobody's spending their 4th of July trying to buy a TV at Best Buy. Some bullshit.
Yeah.
But you got any plans for the 4th tomorrow?
I don't. Just hanging out with some family, getting in the pool. It's fucking hot out here. It's fucking hot.
Shit. And 2 years ago, you threw the big party?
Yeah. 2 years. Came
Hey,
a long way since then.
Yeah. Hey, maybe next year we're in Nashville or something like that.
Just ain't got to tell me, bro. I'm always down for Nashville.
The new Vegas is just a little far.
Yeah. Exactly. Man, what a UFC 303. Alex Pereira.
Historic.
Make easy work of Yuri. Looked even probably the best he's ever looked. I knew, like, I kind of contradicted myself. I showed our bets here. I bet Alex, and then I came on here and I said, I think Yuri gets it done. I even texted you before the fight. I think Yuri wins. So I'll take the loss on that. My bank account says I won, but but it's just, man, Alex Pereira is another level.
Just constantly evolving. He's looked better every single time we've seen him. Maybe not in striking necessarily, but in terms of being comfortable in the UFC octagon and as an MMA fighter, he has looked so good, and he's just getting better and better. I think Glover, I said it in the preview, he's the perfect guy to coach him because he specialized in everything that Pereira didn't. Because Pereira's got striking on lock, but Glover's got everything else in MMA on lock. So it's a deadly combo right there, man. It was something else. Did you see the replays of Pereira knocking down Yuri with the left hook at the end of the first? He literally got hit. It was either with a jab or a cross. He got hit with a straight punch, leaning back, throws the left like off of one leg and still knocks him down. That is just some God-given power right there. It's ridiculous.
And then, like, obviously we saw that he knocked him down. He was rocked. He was rattled. But, like, he had the minute, obviously, in between rounds, and then he came out of the round. He was still dazed. Like, really dropped him and really hurt him.
Mm-hmm. Hey, you know what else was pretty sweet? My cousin and I, the whole first round, we were saying he's throwing a lot of kicks low. He could be setting something up high. Because you know us striking fans, we're always thinking leg kick, body kick, leg kick, question mark, up to the head. And so, sure enough, it happened. But what I thought was nuts about it was the fact that Pereira switched to southpaw. He came out in southpaw at the beginning of the second round. He was fighting orthodox the whole first round. And Yuri was fighting orthodox as well. So that the head kick from the back leg can't really land as well when you guys are the same stance. But when you're opposite stances, that open stance is just wide open. And Poatan sets up that head kick the whole first round by throwing those low kicks. Has Yuri thinking about that as soon as he sees Pereira going in the kicking motion. And then sure enough, it wasn't really a question mark, but it kind of looked like it could have been a body kick in the replay up to the head from the southpaw stance. Just absolutely ridiculous, man. That guy he is something else. Everyone said he was just a striking specialist. But, I mean, no one's been able to Dagestani him so far. Whew. number 2
Yeah.
pound
I
for
mean, he's
pound
just like
now.
you said, it's better every time.
And did you see how he said he saw in the Instagram videos that Yuri was putting his hands down while he was checking low kicks, so he knew that high kick was going to be there.
Yeah.
So he was just setting that shit
And
up, man.
and
It's
that's
just
part of
chest
it
up.
too, is like his leg kicks are so deadly, and we saw it last Yuri fight. It's just you have to respect them, and then I mean, you just constantly watch for that, and then he just obviously he's special with his hands, so it's just I think until someone comes in and just straight bull rushes him and takes him down consistently, you can't beat him. You're not going to beat him on the feet. You're just not.
Man, if we could have seen a light heavyweight John Jones versus a light heavyweight Pereira, both in their primes, it could have been something special. Because imagine that John, with the wrestling background that he has, obviously one of the best MMA wrestlers ever, going against Pereira, arguably the best MMA striker of all time. He's in the top 3 or 5 for sure. That would have been something nuts. So it's looking like the next fight's going to be Magomed Ankalaev. Do you think he has much action? He does have the style to beat Pereira. How do you feel about that one?
I watched. I actually just got done watching, but I also remembered it. I watched Jan Blachowicz pick Ankalaev's legs apart and looked like he was breaking his legs. So if Pereira's leg kicks can land like that, he got up pretty decent when Yuri tried to take him down. Um, I think, I mean, again, we haven't really seen him versus a strict wrestler, so it's going to be interesting to see. If he can continue to get up, I mean, he's just so big for that weight class, even for this weight class, even going up, he's still so big. Um, I just think, again, like I said, you have to have the discipline if you're fighting him to beat him. You just have to keep saying, I'm going to keep shooting, keep shooting, keep shooting, keep shooting. But in between that time, you're also on the feet for a split second, and that's dangerous. So I'm done saying anyone's beating him. No one's going to beat Alex Pereira unless it's John Jones. So no, I don't think Ankalaev has any shot.
What about Tom Aspinall? Say he was to move up to heavyweight. I personally don't think there's much action for Poatan up at heavyweight, just because Aspinall and John are both such good grapplers. But do you think Pereira would have a chance against Aspinall?
I think better chance, obviously, Aspinall than he does John Jones. It's tough. Going up to heavyweight's tough. Like you said, Aspinall's can just tackle him. But I don't know, man. He's just so crafty, and everything that we keep saying he can't do, he ends up just finding a way to get past it and get through it. So I don't know, man. I'm done doubting this guy.
Crafty is an underrated word for Alex Pereira. I haven't heard that one much, but that's very true. He does sneak a lot of stuff in. It never looks like he's gonna throw what he throws.
Yeah,
It's just all
he throws the leg
always
kicks without any tail on him. He just snaps the leg kicks. It's crazy.
You're going to like this. Opening odds on some website, MMAmania.com. Alex Pereira versus Magomed Ankalaev. Pereira plus 210. Ankalaev minus 250. You're hammering that?
There's no way.
That's going to move. That'll move big time if that opens to the public, but that's just a website's prediction odds.
Yeah, I don't see that at all.
I mean, Ankalaev hasn't shown a hole yet. Besides those leg kicks, were a hole, and you're right. Against Pereira, that's a bad hole to have. That'll end the fight or just totally put you at a disadvantage. Should we hop into maybe the craziest co-main ever, or the craziest events leading up to a co-main event ever?
Dude, that is insane. There's not even like a word to describe it.
I was thinking some WWE type shit was the only thing I could think of. It was absolutely nuts. You start seeing stuff on. So the first thing I saw was It was probably at about 3 or 4 p.m. It was Eric Nixick. He posted a selfie with Dan Ige saying always ready to go, like something along the lines of BMF, yada, yada, yada. MMA pages were posting it saying Dan Ige replacing Brian Ortega short notice, ... And I didn't really think anything of it. I told my cousin and my boy Kaywood, we were watching the fights together. I told him, hey, this might happen. Ortega might be out. And seeing the way Ortega looked all week, the fact that he had already had the fight move from featherweight to lightweight, it was a bad sign. And sure enough, Ortega couldn't fight. He was sick. And Dan Ige steps in on 4 hours notice to fight Diego Lopes. And arguably would have beaten him if it was a 5-rounder.
It's crazy
he was
that
putting it on Lopes. Yeah, you go.
It's crazy, like, situation that happened, like, already, like, just hearing about it, and you're like, there's no way it can even happen. There's no way. Then it does. You're just like, what the fuck? Like, 4 hours notice, like, that is no camp. I mean, obviously he was in camp, he's training, but like, that shit is insane. You're like, it's like, I don't know, like, hearing about it was crazy. Then you actually see it, and like, you see him like get into the arena, and then you see like the backstage, and you're like, bro, like, this fool's really about to fight right now. And then it was just so crazy to see, like, crazy, like, it's one of the most unreal things I've ever seen in this sport.
Yeah, that's badass. And I was thinking it's also an advantage to training in Vegas, to being based in Las Vegas, because they're going to call you first. You're pretty much the only guy they could call in that situation. And I'm sure Dan Ige made hundreds of thousands of dollars to be in that fight.
I mean, if you're his agent, Ali, you're on the phone, like, yeah, we want to do it, we're going to do it. But like, at that point, you're just naming your price.
Yeah, that's facts, because they need you way more than you need them. And shout out to Diego Lopez. I've been saying Lopes, obviously, since the moment I heard him. It's crazy. We saw that dude. Remember at UFC X, we saw Diego Lopez. No one knew who he was, and he walked right past. We were like, "Hey, what's up?" And we knew him. Like, he acknowledged us and shit. That was pretty cool. That was only a year ago, and look at where he is now. Crazy. He would be getting mobbed if he was at. He probably. I guess he wasn't at UFC X because he was fighting, but he would have gotten mobbed at UFC X. So it's crazy what a year can do. And he got the offer from the UFC to still get paid his fight purse and not fight, just because of everything that had happened, the way it changed. The opponent changed 2 hours before, but he said, screw it, I'm still down to fight. And that almost felt like fighting down for Lopez compared to the title eliminator that Ortega might have been, or one fight before that. And he goes out there, fights someone very similar to him in the rankings. And Dan Ige, I believe they were 13 and 14. Great fight, though. And did you see a couple holes in Diego Lopez in that fight in the later rounds?
Yeah, obviously his cardio is an issue. His striking looked a lot sloppy to me too. Towards the end, he got tired. He was like overextending on his punches and like leaving his head open. It's just, I didn't like his striking at all. I kind of saw some holes that were like, I didn't like.
My cousin made a great analogy. I'm going to steal this. It's almost like a Hamzat feeling, where in that first round, he is very, very, very dangerous. But once it gets into the second and the third round, about maybe at the end of the second round, the tide starts to turn. But at that point, he already won on the scorecard, so he's still probably going to win the fight. But I mean, Diego Lopez, he's not even 30 years old yet, so obviously he can make a lot of adjustments. Future is still very bright for him. He said Brian Ortega. He wants that at the Sphere in September. Do you think that's the fight to make?
Yeah, I mean, that fight obviously made sense originally. It still makes sense now. It's just, you got to see where Ortega's at. I don't know. Maybe, I mean, crazy to say, but now does Lopez even get a bigger fight than that?
Yeah, it might be something right in that same category, because it's not like he has 8 fights in the UFC. He has 4, so he's not that proven against a lot of really good UFC guys yet. I think Ortega will be ready because he said he felt okay in the week when he accepted the fight, but during fight week he felt really sick, and then he thought it was a weight cut thing. He cut the weight or didn't cut the weight, weighed in at 151 or 155, and then he thought once he rehydrated and started eating he would feel better again, but he didn't feel better at all. So that's when he made the call that he had to pull out, and that's why it took so long. So shouts to T City. I don't think anyone's really knocking him for this one. It's not like a situation where he was in camp for 5 months and this was on the poster the whole time. They were stepping up to save this card in the first place. So it still sucks, but I'm not going to knock T City for that one.
Yeah, I agree. Not a common occurrence for him, so we always know he's game to fight. So yeah, I'm down to see those two fight again. The Sphere's still a big fight. Still want to see that fight.
How about Anthony Smith losing me some more money? What's new? I fade him, he wins. I bet on him, he loses. I don't want to say he looked terrible against Dolidze, but Roman Dolidze absolutely bullied Anthony Lionheart Smith in this fight. Sad to see as a guy that roots for the Lionheart, especially when I had money on him. Bro, what's the story with this guy? Because he's going to win his next fight when he's an underdog.
He's like always like that one fight away from like being like done or out of the rankings or like not being relevant anymore. Then he just gets a big win. Then he's back in the big fight. It's just I mean, I don't know. I don't know what it is. I think it's just he's kind of in that middle to where like if you're better than him, you're really good, but he's not gonna lose to people that like aren't like ready yet. So I don't know. It's just he's one of those guys where it's like you have to be really, really good to beat him.
Yeah. Do you think Roman Dolidze should move up to light heavyweight based off how he looked against a established light heavyweight?
No, I think I mean, I don't know. Obviously the path at light heavyweight's kind of easier than it is at middleweight, but I mean, I liked him at middleweight. He was good at middleweight, so I don't think he needs to make a permanent move.
Yeah, maybe kind of a RDA situation where whichever the best fight presents itself, that's where Roman Dolidze goes. If the best fight's at light heavyweight, he goes there. If the best fight's at middleweight, he goes there. Can't speak for the guy. What about Macy Chiasson versus Mauro Bueno Silva? Bueno Silva started out really hot, and then Chiasson kind of took over, landed that one elbow. That was a nasty cut. I've got to say, I don't know if the fight should have been stopped because the cut was above the eyebrow. It was bleeding a lot, but it was all the way up here. So it wasn't really a dangerous cut at all. All the cut was going to do was limit the visibility of Bueno Silva. So I don't know. I don't think they should have stopped the fight.
Yeah. So question for the next one. More about MVP being really good or more about Ian Gary not being that good?
On the feet, man, that's hard to say because MVP made Gary look terrible on the feet. That was something to see. Ian Gary versus MVP, first round pretty even, but Ian Gary literally had to turn full grappler mode because he could not stand for 30 seconds with MVP without getting rocked. You could tell Michael Venom Page was maybe twice as fast as Ian Gary on the feet. It was absolutely ridiculous. That's a great question, though. I don't know if you could say it's really a knock on Ian Gary, though, because he shows that he's well-rounded enough to grind out a fight. But then at the same time, what's he going to do against a Shavkat? Because now we know that his striking isn't at that A-level tier. Maybe it's B-level tier. Or even maybe A- or B+.
Yeah, I'll definitely look. I mean, obviously it's matchup dependent, but if he's a big favorite again or a close to pick him, if he fights a top 7 guy, you got to lean that direction.
Yeah, that was a tough one for Ian Gary. Could you have a worse win?
I don't think it's not a terrible win. It's just the way you talk it up and talk. Now it looks bad. But if you just
Yeah.
went about your business and just got out of there with the win, like Michael Venom Page is a legend, Hall of Famer. So it's like it's not a bad win. So it's like I just think that the way he talks, and we thought he was elite on the feet. That's what it came down to. Is we thought he was an elite striker on the feet. We thought he was a knockout artist, and he fought a world class striker, and he looked like he never threw a punch before.
Yeah, and we've seen UFC, we've seen martial artists get tested against a world class striker. I think of Anthony Pettis versus Stephen Thompson. Obviously, Pettis was a lot more striking based, but he was able to knock out Stephen Thompson, or even Tyron Woodley. He was able to weather that storm. Obviously, grappled a lot. But yeah, man, this one, I think it establishes Ian Gary as a top 5 guy in the welterweight division. So it moves him up ranking wise from where he is. But in terms of where people's expectations were as a title contender, title guy, I think he moves down from that. I don't really take him seriously as a title contender anymore, to be honest. I think Jack Della Maddalena would have his way with Gary on the feet. And he's better than MVP on the ground. So if Jack Dale's feeling healthy, that's the one to make, in my opinion.
Yeah, I like that one for sure.
I'm a
Your
big
guy.
Jack Dale. Yeah, he's honestly probably my favorite fighter out of the guys that aren't. Obviously, he's established now, but in the next wave, Jack Dale is my favorite fighter. I would say I'm a big Jack Dale fan.
You're also a big Payne Talbot guy.
Yup. What a no. I mean, we didn't get to see much. I almost wish we got to see a little bit more. There's just one right hand down the pipe that knocked out Yanis Gamori. Honestly, I don't really get the matchmaking here for Payton Talbot. I get it because he was on the McGregor card. They wanted him to knock somebody out. But he fought Cameron Simon in his last fight, who's a pretty established bantamweight. With that win, he easily could have fought a ranked opponent and no one would have blinked an eye. But instead, they give him a guy where he's a minus 1,200 favorite going into it. But a great call out from Talbot. Adrian Yanez, what do you think of that one for his next fight?
I like it if you're him. That's a perfect call out. I don't know if you're Yanez if he's earned that yet.
Yeah, but if you slow down the hype train, I think now Talbot's big enough to where it's kind of like what Hunter Campbell said to Aljo. If you beat him, you take his fans. When he was getting him to take the Sugar fight.
Yeah.
It's almost that logic at this point for Talbot. Maybe one more. I should have looked at another bantamweight for who Talbot's next fight could have been. I mean, who's still out there? Brad Katona. I said it before this one. Why not Payton Talbot versus Brad Katona?
Yeah, I agree. I like that. I like Payne Talbot though. He's a guy for sure.
Yeah, he said he weighed in at 161 on fight day. It was with a lot of clothes on, so probably more like 156, 157. But I don't like that. That's still 3 or 4 pounds bigger than Sugar.
Yeah.
And I was saying to Kaywood and Connor on the day of the fight, like, this guy scares me. Like 3 or 4 years from now, he scares me more than damn near any ranked bantamweight besides like Umar and Corey.
Yeah.
Payton Talbot scares me for Sugar Sean. Hopefully Sugar's up at featherweight by then. And also I feel like that could be one of those fights where Sugar is still young enough to where he has enough speed to where he kind of teaches him a lesson a little bit.
Yeah.
Kind of like Stipe Francis 1.
Mm.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yep.
Yeah. How about Joe Pyfer? Vicious knockout. Yeah, good comeback from him. I like him a lot besides the fact that he's from Philly. He's a stereotypical Philly guy. Through and through, talks like it, just unlikable like them, but I do like his fighting style. I'll give him that. I think my guy Cub Swanson got robbed against Andre Feely. I had money on Cub, but even if I didn't have money on him, I still would have thought he got robbed. He landed the bigger shots, and I have the striking numbers right here. Cub landed 90 total strikes to Feely's 70. Significant strikes, Feely did have 5 more. He had 67 to Cub's 62. But if you watch that fight, Cub hurt Feely more than Feely hurt Cub.
Yeah.
And there's no way Feely wins that fight. And John Silva knocked out Charles Jourdain. That is a guy to look out for.
That's a big one.
27 years old. That guy is a powerhouse. He knocked out Weston Wilson in his last fight in the first round. 2-0 in the UFC. I'm telling y'all, John Silva out of the Fighting Nerds, young guy at featherweight, powerhouse. He could be like a featherweight Derek Lewis, low key.
I like it.
All right. Great card though. Really felt like it got the juices flowing. That one got the juices flowing for me. On to the next. Could we see Khabib return? Y'all are probably thinking this is clickbait. Khabib's done. But lately, Russia's been on their corrupt shit, their communist government stuff, and they've seized apparently all of Khabib's assets. They've been shutting him down, taking his money, just kind of making life hard for him over there in Russia. It's hard to know how serious this situation is. There's a chance that he could just get out of all of this and stuff goes back to normal. But from my limited experiences of watching stuff that happens in Russia and in their court system, it just happens to not go very well for the defendant.
Yeah.
So what's your opinion on this? Could we see Khabib maybe move to the US, come back to the UFC to get a little bit more money? It's a lot to unwind right now. It's still
you don't know where he's like truly at financially. Like you don't know, like I don't know. I feel like okay, they could have seized it, but we don't know how much he really has hidden or in cash. You don't know, but I don't know. I don't think he's hurting enough to come back and fight. I don't think so. Again, we don't know the whole story, but I don't think so.
And it's tough because the dude's really like the Michael Jordan of Russia, or like how Lionel Messi is for Argentina or soccer fans. He is like that for Russia. Khabib is that big over there.
Yeah.
So I feel like money's always going to come in for him in some way. Like if he moves to Abu Dhabi or Saudi Arabia or somewhere like that, they're going to treat him like a king the same way Russia was. Man, wouldn't it be something to see him just fight Conor? Because he probably thinks Conor's easy money, and Conor would be down for that, and everyone buys that.
So that's the fight?
Shit, man, why not?
He doesn't come in and get a title shot right away?
He 70? Does, but if he's here for money. He already has legacy, brother. He wants money now. Reversal from his Conor press conference.
Yeah.
That would make money.
Yeah.
Conor Khabib too.
At 70?
I don't know who says no. And I think Khabib could make a title run at 70. If he wanted to come back right now, I think he would be the favorite against Leon.
Yeah, for sure.
Only thing is it's kind of holding Islam back because Islam wanted to go up there.
Yeah.
But I mean,
if anything, I think if he comes back, like you say, if it's really because he needs the money, you just fight Conor or a Nate Diaz or somebody and just get big money.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like Conor's the only one that would make, like, if he were to come back and it was for money, it would be Conor.
Yeah.
But I mean, that kind of just works out.
Yeah.
Low key. Hey, if I had to bet money, I would say Khabib does not return, but it sounds more realistic than it did a year ago.
Yeah.
Now talking about some guys who say they're going to return, we'll go quick through here. But because, I mean, I don't know. It's hard to really invest much in either all three of these guys right now. But who fights first? Conor McGregor, Hamzat Chimaev, or John Jones?
I don't know. I want to say John Jones.
Like November, Madison Square Garden type shit.
Yeah, is that the right answer? I mean, is Conor in November at Square Garden?
I mean, you got to think MSG chooses Conor over John, right? If they have the choice.
Yeah, I don't know John's injury status. And then I don't know. It also could be Hamza. I mean, we don't know. The problem is we don't know any of these guys' true status of it. I think Connor really is just a broken toe, so he
Yeah.
could come quickly from that. But again, I don't know if Connor, once Connor is healthy, if he's going to fight right away. You never know with that guy. So I think Hamza and John Jones, when they're healthy, they fight right away.
That's true. Maybe a 2-3 month camp and then they're in there.
Yeah.
Hamza might be targeting Abu Dhabi, October. I heard Ilia Topuria say that that's his target date, Abu Dhabi. So then the fans in Spain, it's a better time for them. But bro, screw you. You don't even have a title defense yet. You don't deserve that type of, dictation yet, Ilia Topuria. I get that you're a champ, but you got to defend the belt once before you can start calling shots like that.
Yeah. It's crazy. I feel like the sphere's turning into what we thought UFC 300 was going to be.
I mean, 300 still ended up being nutty, but everyone wants to be on the sphere. And yeah, we have been talking about it a long way out. So if you had to bet money right now on who fights first between the three, McGregor, Hamzat, or John Jones, where are you putting your money?
You said Abu Dhabi's October?
Yeah.
I would do Hamzat in October in Abu Dhabi.
I agree with that. Hey, we got a comment from Colostrum. Shouts you. What's some fights y'all want to see happen in 2024?
All three of those dudes?
All three of those dudes. It's crazy that 2024 is already almost halfway over. So we probably only have like 4 or 5 pay-per-views left.
Yeah.
Which is sad to say. But let's see.
I would say Izzy and Strickland if the timetable lines up.
You got Drinkus in the bank already?
Yeah, Drinkus is in the bank. Obviously John Jones, Stipe, Alex Pereira at heavyweight. I want to see. Maybe Islam Leon.
Ooh, I would love to see Islam versus Leon. Couple that I really want to see at welterweight. I need to see Shavkat Rakhmonov fight somebody, whether it's a title shot. I think he's already earned the next title shot. So whether it's the winner of Bilal Muhammad versus Leon Edwards, or you give Shavkat Rakhmonov Ian Gary, or if Shavkat does fight the next title fight winner at 304, I want to see Ian Gary versus Jack Della Maddalena. I got my eyes on welterweight. And let's see, flyweight, I want to see Tatsuro Taira versus the winner of Steve Erceg versus Kai Kara France title eliminator. We've seen at flyweight that they want to move guys very quickly. So let's make that one happen. And another comment from Colostrum, Umar versus Corey, who y'all got? I've got to say Corey Sandhagen. After seeing Umar's vulnerability on the feet in his last fight, where he got dropped in the first round, I feel like Corey is good enough to do that and also withstand the pressure on the ground and win some rounds. Who you got on that one, Jay?
Yeah, I was trying to look up here a line for that. I think, I don't know, I want to say Umar, but the reason you said obviously Corey, I think Corey's too technical, too unorthodox. I gotta lean Corey in that, I would say.
Yeah, just a vet, and we haven't seen Umar.
When's that one happening?
That good. August, Abu Dhabi or some shit like that.
It's a fight night, right?
Tatsuro submit. Yeah, big fight night, like main event of it. Tatsuro submits Pantoja. Mark my words. Thank you, Colostrum. I've been preaching the Tatsuro Taira gospel ever since his fight on International Fight Week last year. I said this guy is a guy to mess with, a guy to be feared at that flyweight division. And we saw it in his last fight. He tore Alex Perez's ACL just off of taking his back and just that mean pressure. And Umar might wrestle, though. I agree with you. But I mean, I think Corey Sandhagen's really taken emphasis into being a complete martial artist in these last few years. We saw him in the fight against Rob Font, where he tore his triceps in the first round of that fight, couldn't strike, and he literally Dagestanied him for 4 rounds. It was a boring, terrible fight to watch. It was the main event of one of those city fight nights, but I don't know, man. I think Corey's well-rounded enough to where I'm hammering Corey, and he's the same age as Sugar Sean. I want to say he's like 30, 31 years old, so he's right in his prime right now. Those younger fights where we saw him get backpacked by Aljo, that was still before he was in his prime. So I think we're going to see the best version of Corey Sandhagen in that Umar fight, and he's going to be a problem for Sugar Sean.
Bro, this Sandhagen and Umar card, obviously Corey and Umar, Luque and Nick Diaz, Chito Vera and Figgy, Mackenzie Dern, Lupe Godinez, and Tony Ferguson and Michael Chiesa.
Yeah, bro. They put up for the Abu Dhabi guys, man. They all, because the Saudis give them the money or whatever they are, they give them big money. So they've got to give them big time fights. That's one of those ones right there.
Yeah. Speaking of a Diaz, we got Jorge Masvidal versus Nate Diaz in a boxing match this weekend. How do you see that one shaking out?
Man, I'm such a big Nate guy. It's just hard to ever pick against Nate on the air.
It's not hard for me to tell you that.
I'm not betting money, but if I were to bet money, I would definitely bet on Masvidal. Unfortunately,
I was looking for a line. I didn't see one, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. It kind of Diaz having the most recent boxing experience kind of opens my eyes, but Masvidal is just a complete striker. And you just have to think, like, I don't know. They fought in the UFC. Masvidal won. They're both Masvidal's a better striker than Diaz, so you'd have to just imagine it's Masvidal.
Yeah, and it's not like one's really younger than the other.
Yeah.
So, I like Colostrum out here talking flyweight. Kape versus Mokaev winner will want a title shot too.
That's a big time fight.
Yeah. Flyweight's getting really good because we've got Kai Kara versus Steve Urseg on UFC 305 in Australia, and then we've got Kape and Mokaev, and then we've still got Askarov just kind of waiting because he's such a boring fighter. Maybe you go Tatsuro Taira versus Askarov and kind of throw that in the mix too and see what happens after those 3 fights.
Yeah. I think that, like he said, I think that Kape Mokaev winner gets a call for a title shot as well.
Over the Aussies? I guess Urseg can't really get it this soon, but
I think they like Urseg though, dude. There's a reason he was there. I think if he gets a big win, a big finish, or like a dominant performance, I think he's back in the mix.
I was also watching that UFC 305 presser earlier this week. Kai Kara France, he's going to be locked in. He said he took 6 months non-contact just to refresh his brain to get ready for the next 5 years. So I think we're going to see an evolved version of Kai Kara France back.
Yeah, I was a big Kai Kara guy.
Yeah, he's still dope, but dude, flyweight and light heavyweight are both kind of starting to come back a little bit.
Yeah, they've never been the strongest, but they've also just looked bad because all the other weight classes are so good. You look at bantamweight, 45, 55, 70, like the 85. Everyone's like usually stacked and has a big fight every weekend, and those divisions typically haven't. So, but yeah, and like you said, they're coming up.
Dude, and heavyweight's kind of gotten a pass over the last like 2 years, but it's really been like women's bantamweight level.
Yeah.
Amir can fight Roy Val, maybe. Yeah, Roy Val too, bro. I forgot he beat Moreno back in Mexico City. Damn, flyweight is really back. Appreciate you, Colostrum, for talking to us in the chat. Usually it's just us talking in here, even though we go live. It's great to see. Next year, 2-year anniversary for us.
Yeah.
Or next week, I mean, not next year. But yeah, International Fight Week 2 years ago is when we got the idea to start this thing. Since we both met, during basketball, how about we talk a little NBA free agency to close off the show? Appreciate you, Colostrum, for being in here. But how far do you think Ludwig Klein will go?
I like him, bro.
Yeah?
I like him a lot.
I've always I've thought he was good in all of his fights, but he never stood out to me as one of those guys when he came into the UFC or
He's
in his
sneaky,
most
bro.
recent fights.
He's always an underdog. Won me a lot of money in my day.
Mr. Highlight. It's just that lightweight division too. That's so hard to climb. But like we say, a lot of those guys are getting older right now.
Yeah. I mean, he's 29, so he's still somewhat young, but yeah, he's on a big time win streak. I like him a lot.
Ooh, Jean Silva versus Dober. Did they announce that already, Colostrum?
No, Dober has a fight already.
I was gonna say.
Oh, he is fighting John Silva.
Damn, that's a quick one right there. But, ooh, bro, low key, Jean Silva since he's not black.
Yeah.
Drew Dober, he knocks out the black guys and gets knocked out by anyone that's not black. So call me crazy, but that's what I'm going with.
Yeah, that is a big time fight. I like John Silva there too.
Bro, John Silva's really. How does he get that scheduled already? I've been out of the loop, man. I feel terrible.
Yeah, I saw that he had a fight. That Dober had a fight. I didn't pay attention to who it was.
Damn, we might have to get you on the payroll, Colostrum. You're really on the shits like that.
Yeah, that's a good fight.
All right, biggest winners and losers of the NBA offseason so far. Sorry, we're switching to basketball now, Colostrum, just for the end of the show. I'm sure you don't care about that because most diehard MMA fans don't. But draft and free agency combined, biggest winner first.
I think I like what Minnesota did in the draft. I think everything as a whole, I don't think there's been a bigger move than Paul George to Philly. That's a true big three.
Yeah.
But I think the move that's the best has to be Clay to Dallas.
Yeah, Clay to Dallas. That's a nasty one. Just because he's going to get so many open shots. Real quick, we'll get back to this, but thoughts on Joshua Vaughn? I have to say, our guy, Energy Charles Johnson, took the fight. 13 days notice. Charles Johnson versus Joshua Vaughn next weekend, Denver, Colorado. I've got to pick my guy, Energy MMA, to win this one, but I am a big fan of Joshua Vaughn. Colostrum's just a big flyweight guy. I respect that.
I like Josh Vaughn, but all in on Energy.
Yeah, appreciate you as well, Colostrum. Real one. We'll be back every week. You could catch us here. All right. But yeah, so you like Clay to Dallas. Philly probably the biggest winners because of Paul George. What about CP3 to San Antonio? Do they get sneaky good?
Yeah, I think they're good. He's never available.
Oh, dude, I just think San Antonio is the ones.
Yeah.
I think Pop builds it. He's sending Steve Kerr all the notes right now, and then he's gonna retire, and then Pop's gonna be an advisor, and then Steve Kerr's gonna come in. Oh, thank you, Colostrum. Let's go. You're a real one. You can check us out on Instagram too. We post a lot of stuff on there, like polls and shit like that. Try to get interactive. Let's go, baby.
Yes, sir.
But anyway, how about the Lakers? So I love the first round pick of Dalton Connect. I was thinking of this starting lineup: D'Lo, Reeves, Connect, Braun, AD. It's not bad. And then say we need a defensive lineup, switch out Jared Vanderbilt for Connect.
Yeah, I like Vando. When's Bronny get in?
When we're up 30.
It's a gimmick, bro. It's a gimmick.
Bro, that's crazy. I heard on a podcast. You know how LeBron hasn't officially signed yet?
Yeah, he did today.
Oh, I was gonna say, what if he just signed somewhere else? And like you just got Bronny drafted to the Lakers and did all that. Got JJ hired and got Bronny drafted.
No, his deal definitely handicapped the roster.
He said he was gonna take a good one.
He didn't take a good one.
Selfish motherfucker. He's already a billionaire, bro. And he wants to take. Oh, man. I'm surprised the Lakers didn't go after KCP.
Yeah.
I guess his value was just high, though.
I saw today, which kind of I didn't like, is JJ Redick's not coaching the summer league team.
That's not normal, right? Don't they usually coach it?
It's not. No, it's not normal at all. But there have been coaches that have done it. The Suns coach a while ago, like Igor Kozolov, it was the first time coaching the NBA, so he coached it. I just thought so for Redick, you've never coached before.
Yeah, true. He's a rookie and second year guy, just like the guys in summer league. So why not get your feet wet?
Like you have to learn how to like be in a. So like the first time he's ever gonna be in a huddle or draw a play or all this stuff is gonna be like in the preseason. Like I don't know. I just thought that would have been valuable reps for him.
Yeah.
Like he needs to be around. He needs to be around NBA officials. He needs to be around NBA players. He needs to learn how to talk in the huddle. Like this, like small things that you have to learn.
Did Steve Kerr do any? I'm comparing JJ a lot to Steve Kerr coming in.
No, so Steve Kerr didn't. But also Steve Kerr was like in the NBA already.
So was JJ though. Yeah, same route, like, player to announcer.
Steve Kerr was an executive though.
I always forget that. So what was Steve Kerr's route? He went Spurs, so he retired after the Spurs for playing?
Yeah. And then he went broadcasting, I want to say, executive, back to broadcasting, and then to the Warriors.
Damn, bro. I like JJ, though. I've been seeing the Pat Riley comparisons. He's a young Pat Riley.
We're going to see.
I mean, good. I mean, bro, I feel like LeBron really makes it easier as a first-year coach, too. Because if it really comes down to it. True, because no one's going to think of you as the alpha. They're all going to think of LeBron as the alpha.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can get Masvidal Diaz odds before we get out of here real quick.
Yeah, I'm trying to see that. I don't have it on my book.
Let me check mine. You know my offshore shit be cooking. Boxing. All right, Masvidal minus 260, Nate Diaz plus 210.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's a bad line anyway, but yeah, that's about what I'd have it.
Would you go Masvidal by decision or inside the distance? I'm not sure how many rounds it is.
He doesn't knock him out. Masvidal by decision.
I think it's a 10-rounder.
Yeah, Masvidal by decision.
All right. So you could get Masvidal by decision at plus 120.
Oh, I like that.
So if y'all are fiending for some fight
in LA
this weekend, yeah, Anaheim, bro. I wanted to go really bad. Anaheim's easy.
Yeah,
it was gonna be in LA, but the UFC ended up scheduling Islam and Dustin on that same day, so they had to switch everything, and then they ended up getting the Honda Center. But it's in the same arena that Volk Topuria was in, so yeah, it's big time. Yeah. Right across the street from your stadium.
Facts.
With the two red hats.
Yep.
Do the Angels have any future ever?
Nah.
Just a fun, just like I bet when you say you're an Angel fan, people just like respect you for that though.
Yeah,
like you're a real one.
Yeah.
Damn, 50 minutes. Look at that. Just like 2 years ago.
Facts.
All right, then I will be seeing you next week.
All right.
Doses.
Everybody have a good 4th.
Fact, I forgot about that, bro. Work really killed it for me. Forgot it was the 4th. Doses.